Okay, so welcome everybody, welcome STEM scholars, all the staff, whoever is tuned in today to learn a little bit about mindfulness. Now, normally first of all, I'm Changa Bell. I am your in-house yogi and guru. I know normally we do a live practice or recorded practice, but we want to start giving context into some of the deeper things that we can do. And they're deeper because it's easier, because it's more you-centered here in your mind. So most of yoga, hatha yoga, all those bodily practices are really lended to have you learn mental, physical, and emotional bonding, to act as one unit. So if we could just jump there, they call that Raja Yoga, it's just yoga of the mind, many of us would. But a lot of the times we need to cultivate an inner strength, an inner peace, and there's a lot of externalities in the world going on. So today I'm going to try to be as brief as possible. You can skip all of this and go straight to the meditation. That will be made available for you separate. But if you have a few minutes, we're going to sit through and learn about introduction to cultural mindfulness techniques for stress management. So here's Chikanta Jope, or Diop as some folks call him, as Jope. Understanding our cultural roots is the foundation for a mindfulness existence and a future filled with purpose. So I think it adds to our resistance, our pliability, our sustainability, but we have to have this I-centered rootedness, but one from the soul, not just from identity or culture. But it contributes greatly knowing where we came from, because it helps us better assess who we are in today's context. It gives us an epigenetic root, if you will, to unlocking things in our psyche. So that's why I'm going to give this presentation today in a cultural context. So starting first, the need for mindfulness in and of itself sort of, connotates that maybe our natural state is to be apathetic or to be disengaged. So here on the slide, you could pause it and read it, but it gives my hypothesis for that and how you, so to get on the Z-axis, if you will. We live in a dichotomous world, so if apathy is on one hand and mindfulness is on the other, then that Z angle is really being aware and being present, being in the now. And if you can be that, if you can truly be present, then you are who you think you are. You're aware that fear falls away, lack of focus falls away, and you'll find yourself in the moment. So how do we get there? We get there through meditation, we get there through mindfulness, we get there through focus. So we're going to talk about a few methods on how to do that. So elemental breath work is the first thing we're going to do. The objective here is just grounding ourselves in these principles of, not even principles, a practice to help us be centered and draw our senses inward. So in the elemental practice, you can find yourself sitting or laying right now. You just find a comfortable position. You can do it right now, or you can just listen to how the practice would go. And like I said, you can pause, put on music of your choice. But once you get really comfortable and sort of close the door, or ask your friends to leave you alone for just 5 minutes, you begin by taking 3 deep breaths. And they could be through the nostrils. We usually don't want to breathe through the mouth. That activates the sympathetic nervous system. We want to live in a parasympathetic nervous system at this time. So we take 3 deep breaths. Just a nice in and out. On that third breath, hopefully your eyes are closed by now. You start to visualize the elements as we know them. So we associate air with the inhale. You can place, as is pictured here, one hand at the clavicle, right at the breastplate, one hand on the belly, just noticing how the belly rises, and then the chest. When you're breathing calmly and deeply, it starts there. And we associate fire. So it starts to burn if you hold the breath. So kumbhaka is what breath retention is in Sanskrit. We want to hold the breath at the top or the bottom. It's up to you, just for maybe 1 or 2 seconds. And then we'd exhale like water, allowing it to carry away all of our problems, all of our worries, just letting go. So inhale, pause, exhale. And we would do that for as many cycles as we want. As I mentioned before, you could place a timer down for 5 minutes, and when it goes off, you can end the practice. Resting in that end is that stability, that grounding, that earth support. Gravity is holding us, hugging us to the earth. And then space, because space and time are one and the same, we have a sense of increased space once those thoughts go down, once their frequency stops. We get this ether element, just sitting in the space and time realm. And you can start that over and over again. We can just end it. My thing is to not make it a striving thing. You just want to do it once, maybe take a note of it and see how it makes you feel, or even just feeling inside. Just taking note and then going on with your day. So this ancestral reflection practice, this is up next. So our objective here is to connect with our ancestral wisdom. We stand on the shoulders of giants. There's great-grandmas, great-great-grandmas, great-grandpas, great-great-grandpas. All these people that lived a purposeful life to get us here, they had us in mind, right? We're here. Even if they were aunties and uncles and it wasn't our direct parental lineage, we can draw on their strength and their wisdom, and we can do that daily. So the ancestral reflection looks like this again. So I'm giving you a lot today, a lot to use, 5 minutes at a time, maybe 8 minutes, but definitely no longer than 10. So as busy as you are, you have time to do this. So again, we're going to always start sitting or laying comfortably. The eyes usually close because it helps us withdraw our senses. When you're out looking, you're out thinking, you're naming, you look at a light, you call it a light. You look at a wall, you call it a wall. So when the eyes are closed, they already have us go inward. And here we're going to use a little bit of visualization. So you think of a gathering place. It could be by a waterfall, around a fire, but make it ancestral in origin. And if your ancestry isn't African, it's fine. Use whatever you know your ancestry to be. I like to call forth a council of what I call Changas. It's not that I'm narcissistic. I like that reference point of a kindergarten me, a 20-year-old me, a 10-year-old me, a 50-year-old me, a 70-year-old me, and a 90-year-old me. And we sit around the campfire and we reflect. The 90-year-old tells me, even though I'm not 90 and I haven't lived there, he tells me what I need to think about, what I should keep in mind in order to make sure that my future is correct. So you can do it that way, or you can just go right into ancestors. People that you know about, have a reference point, real or imagined. And you would sit in this tranquil space and you would ask for guidance, and you'd send gratitude for them living their life so that you could get here to where you are. Somebody had to go through labor, a C-section. Someone had to go through that to get the person that brought you here. So we're just giving them gratitude for the years that they spent here just to get us where we are. And we just absorb any insights, anything. You have a real conversation. Again, whether it's real or imagined, the brain doesn't know the difference. This is why the mind is so powerful. The body reacts to what the mind conjures up. This is why panic attacks are real. Anxiety feels real. You can't tell anyone in the throngs of an anxiety attack that they're not experiencing it, because they feel it as real. So the same in an imaginative state, you're giving yourself the peace and the tranquility, and you're literally with family. So whatever wisdom they want to share, take it in and sit again as long as you like. But my advice, my suggestion is to sit with a timer for 5 or 10 minutes. When that goes off, you leave, but you end with supreme gratitude. You can also use any music. You can use this music that's in the slide. It's 3 minutes and 33 seconds long. You can use that to do your practice, but you move on. So our last part, maybe the most powerful and sort of esoteric part, is going to be dream recall. And it's, I'm calling it a ritual. Think of it as a practice. I don't want to scare anybody. You can keep your Christianity, you keep your Muslim religion practice, you keep whatever it is, your spiritual practice is. So we're talking about it in a real literal sense, like your practice, a ritual that you would do. And here, you're learning to link the subconscious and with the conscious world and just sort of get whatever insights you can get out of it. So before you sleep, you would set an intention. Consciously tell yourself, I'm going to remember my dreams tonight. And you can sit with your phone, or it's better to write it, in my opinion, because pen to paper just, imbibes a little more energy and heart energy. But whatever you want to do, it's fine. Keep it by your bedside, so if you wake, you can write it down, even if you wake up in the middle of the night. And you want to just write down, out of stillness of heart and mind, where you are. And just write down whatever happens. So no matter how silly it seems, you might have had lunch with the cat in the hat and you'd say, I'm not going to write this down, this is silly. But over time, you'll get a snapshot of what your mind is trying to work out. You'll notice patterns. There'll be things that keep coming up. And just in quiet hours of your normal day, if something comes back to you from that dream moment, write down what it is in your normal waking hours. So that's it. It's just linking the conscious with the unconscious. So that's your dream recall. So all of this is a part of our preventative mental health practice. Through COVID, what I call the blip, that really became an issue, right? We all started to notice how much chatter, how much fear, how much uncertainty we were really dealing with. So preventative mental health is our only bridge to resilience and sustainability. So here's a Dreamtime meditation. It is 8 minutes long. You'll get this separately. It's also here in this PowerPoint, so you can access it there. Feel free to. And again, another song sample. If you want to just read for context what the practice is, here's another song sample. You'll have that to go into your Dreamtime meditation. So let's wrap up here. We're at 12 minutes. I should be able to get this in 15. Thank you for your time thus far. So we have these key points. We're going to center our practice through visualization. That helps us become more mindful and present. Believe it or not, it seems like we're building castles only to tear them down, but that's not the case. It'll really start to bring you in to the moment. Ancestral wisdom. We want to lean more on the lived experiences of those that we share blood with and some that we don't. But by connecting with them, we have a true chance to wake up our epigenetics and make things active in our lives now. Healing through connection. We recognize and honor our ancestors and connect, and therefore we see we're actually an extension of them. We weren't created by ourselves, and we're rooted in this identity. I recommend, for me, I went ahead and did African ancestry and found out that I'm from Guinea-Bissau on the maternal side and Ewe Akan from Ghana on the paternal side. It really gave me a terra firma under my feet in terms of a lot of things I didn't understand about myself, and reading about those cultures that I share and I act out without even having prior knowledge about it. And now that I do, I can sort of own up these tendencies, and it feels really good. So maybe you'll experience the same thing, but give it a try. And then lastly, these subconscious insights. Dreams are the windows to our subconscious, just like the eyes are the windows to the soul. So here you'll start to catch yourself in what the unaware, the shadow self is trying to work out. These traumas, these things that may have happened to you, or the desires, the things where your angels, where the positive side of you is trying to take you, and maybe you're resistant to because you have fear. You don't want to get on the stage and be a comedian. You don't want to ice skate in front of people, whatever it is. These things that are sort of hidden from our waking mind, you want to get these insights and let it lead you. Intention matters is what we learn from this practice. Being intentional every day about the things we do. It doesn't mean being so OCD, but it just means being intentional about how we move, how we think, and how we act. And then obviously catching the mind at work. We do that mostly through, if you could screenshot your mind, that's what journaling is. It's a screenshot of your mind. And it's always working. Even as I'm speaking to you right now, there's something in the background working. So it wouldn't be right if we didn't reflect. So just a quick quiz. Which of the following elements is associated with the inhale during elemental breath work? Just to see if you were paying attention when you read. Of course, that is air. Primary purpose of elemental breath work is what? It hopefully isn't to visualize a campfire, and it should not be to sleep. We said we were going to be intentional. It could be to sleep. It's okay if you fall asleep, but it's really to align the breath with the energies of the 5 elements. Our biological existence is rooted in the senses, and so it's a good thing to really understand that and be grounded in that sense of being. And which of the following is a primary benefit of the ancestral reflection practice? Go ahead and touch the screen or say out loud which one you think it is. It is grounding oneself and understanding one's roots. Again, you can read it. The main purpose of inviting the forefathers, the foremothers, is for what? To share a meal. It is to draw upon their wisdom and insights. And before starting the dream recall ritual or practice, what's the intention to set? To remember the dream. I would really appreciate feedback. I've gone a minute and a half over. Sorry if I spoke fast. I really want to be respectful of your time. So click here or click the link that is provided in the email, however you receive this message. And please take another 2 or 3 minutes to fill out the feedback form. It's going to be important for how I deliver these little courses of wisdoms to you. If you want a dream journal to continue to really navigate through your subconscious work, it's right there. You can download it. And that's it. You've completed it. The little mini course. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the month. Look forward to getting your feedback and just our journey together. Thanks.